Please join me in Gosho. Namo Mirans, Namo Mirans, Nama Mirans, Namo Mirans, Nama, Nama, Nama. Good morning. My name is Sensei Robert Gubenco, and I would like to welcome you to the Calgary Buddhist Temple for our Sunday, April 12th, 2020 service. I'd like to ask you to get comfortable in your seats where you are, and we'll have a few moments of quiet meditation to calm our minds and our bodies. And once you get yourself comfortable where you are, please close your eyes or just have them slightly open. And I'd also ask you, if you are not going to be sitting during this meditation, that you do not talk for the meditation and maybe pay attention to your body as you are walking around the house. The meditation will start with the sound of the bell, and it will end with the second sound of the bell. Bring your awareness to your feet. Notice if you have any tension in this area. And relax your feet as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your legs. Notice if you have any tension in this area. And relax your legs as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your hips and hip area. Notice if you have any tension in this area. And relax your hips and hip area as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your arms and hands. Notice if you have any tension in this area. And relax your arms and hands as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your abdomen, your chest, and your back. Notice if you have any tension in this area. And relax your abdomen, your chest, and your back as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your shoulders, your neck, and your head. Notice if you have any tension in this area. And relax your shoulders, your neck, and your head as you breathe out. Bring your awareness to your forehead, your eyes, around your eyes, your jaw and your tongue. Notice if you have any tension in this area. And relax your forehead, your eyes, around your eyes, your jaw and your tongue as you breathe out. Yasho. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Reverently we come before the shrine of Amida Buddha, the Holy One, the Perfect One. With gratitude, we have brought our offering of love and devotion to honor him. We earnestly resolve to strive to understand his blessed path, so that like him we may attain the peace of Nirvana. We will chant Vandana Tisarana. Next we'll read the Shin Buddhist Life Principles. Shin Buddhist Life Principles. In trusting in the vow of the Buddha, calling out the Buddha's name, I will pass through the journey of life with strength and joy. Revering the light of the Buddha, reflecting upon my imperfect self, I will strive to live a life of gratitude. Following the teachings of the Buddha, discerning the right path, I will share the true Dharma with all. Rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding all sentient beings, I will work towards the welfare of society and the world. And next we'll read the three treasures. How rare and wondrous it is to have been born into human life, and now I live it. How rare and wondrous it is to be able to listen to the Buddha Dharma, and now I am able to hear it. If I do not transcend the world of delusion in this life, when will I ever attain spiritual liberation? May I, along with the entire Sangha, with sincere heart and mind, rely on that which can be truly relied on in life, the three treasures. I rely on the Buddha. May I, along with all sentient beings, awaken to the great path with my entire being and discover the highest aspiration, which is to become a Buddha. I rely on the Dharma. May I, along with all sentient beings, deeply reflect on the meaning of the sutras and gain wisdom that is as deep and vast as the ocean. I rely on the Sangha. May I, along with all sentient beings, become one Sangha of life, able to move forward and live with a dynamic spirit that is hindered by nothing. The unsurpassed, deep, and wondrous Dharma, even in millions of kalpas, is extremely difficult to encounter, but now I am able to experience and embrace it. May I come to understand and revere the true meaning of the Tathagata. And next, we'll read the Four Noble Truths. The first, which is dukkha, or difficulty. Dissatisfaction comes from not living in accord with the truth of impermanence and interdependence. The second truth is samudaya, or arising. The delusion of self-importance, expressed through greed and anger, is the cause of dukkha. And the third truth is nirodha, or cessation. The transformation of greed and anger and delusion is the cure for dukkha. And the fourth truth is marga, the path. Shakyamuni Buddha taught the Eightfold Path as medicine for putting an end to dukkha. Next we will chant Sambujo. Read the English translation at the bottom of the page. We respectfully welcome Amida Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. We respectfully welcome Shakyamuni Buddha to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. And we respectfully welcome the Buddhas of all times and places to our temple as we scatter flowers of joy. And next we will chant Song Butsuge.
Dojo Chozet Kokunyo
Shinnen Shoujo Itogoko Keiraku Anon Kobun Shimyo Zeiga Shinsho Hongan no Hi Rikisho Shoyo Jibo Seson Chie Muge Joryo Shison Chiga Shinyo Keiryo Shinshi Shoku Dokuchu Yaryo Shojin Ninju Fuke Please join me in Gasho. Namo Muse, Namo Muse, Namo Muse, Namana, 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 Namana. Well, good morning. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for being part of the chanting. This week is a special week for Buddhists. It is April 8th was the birth of Siddhartha Gautama, who became the Buddha. So all around the world, Buddhists are celebrating the birth of Siddhartha. And in commemoration for this celebration of the Buddha's birthday, the Buddhist Temple of Southern Alberta will be holding a Hanamatsuri service at 2 p.m. today. They will be broadcasting live from YouTube, and if you go to YouTube and look up Buddhist Temple of Southern Alberta, you'll be able to find the live broadcast that will be held today. So that'll be a very special service, and I'm sure that they will be having the baby Buddha adorned with flowers, and being able to see how we pour sweet tea over the baby Buddha, which resembles or symbolizes the sweet rain and the flowers that fell during the time of the Buddha's birth. I have a few words of reflection for us this morning. Because the Buddha's name arises from the body of true reality and of fulfillment, because it arises from the ocean of compassion, because it arises from the ocean of the vow, because it arises from the ocean of wisdom, because it arises from the ocean of the Dharma gates, simply to say the name of this one Buddha wholeheartedly is itself to say the names of all Buddhas. Because it embodies immeasurable virtues, it eradicates the obstructions of our karmic evil and enables us to be born in the pure land. Namo Amida-butsu, Namo Amida-butsu, Namo Amida-butsu. The last time that our temple, where the doors were open for a service, was March 15th. That was 4 weeks ago. And since that time, we have all started to adjust to the changes of keeping proper physical distance and only going out for things that are essential. And other than that, I have only been out for walks around my neighborhood. I think unless you are retired or have been working from home before these changes were put into place, you probably did not spend as much time at home as you are now. Thinking about my home before the changes, it was a place to go for comfort and relaxation, a place to eat and sleep, and a place to keep my belongings. With the recent changes that have been placed on society, the home has changed to include all aspects of a person's life. We work and communicate from our home and do not leave the home for several days unless you have a job that requires you to be at work for the benefit of others. In other words, the home is no longer a place that you come back to. For many of us, it has become the place where we spend all of our time. Being asked to stay at home and not to go out unless absolutely necessary is understandable during this pandemic. We are all trying to help others stay healthy, and we are doing our best to help the medical system. During my days at home, I started to think about what it would be like to be under house arrest. And in a way, I am experiencing something similar by following the guidelines to stay at home. Being cut off from others and spending all of one's time at home is not as easy as it sounds. Our days and nights may seem to be longer now that we no longer have our regular routines. Without the direct knowledge, it is difficult for us to understand an emotion or an experience unless we have lived it. With this experience of being told to stay at home and not to travel unless absolutely necessary, brings an awareness of the isolation that is associated with house arrest. My thought about house arrest is related to the largest sutra from the Pure Land Sutras. In the larger sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha is asked by Bodhisattva Maitreya, what causes and conditions lead to the distinction between the two kinds of birth in the Pure Land, womb-like birth and transformative birth? The Buddha said to Maitreya, suppose there are sentient beings who, with minds full of doubt, aspire to be born in the Pure Land. They doubt and don't believe in the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha, but they do believe in the recompense of evil and good, and they aspire to be born in the Pure Land through cultivating the roots of good. They will be born in a palace where for 500 years they will never see the Buddha. They will never hear the teaching or see the sacred host of bodhisattvas. Therefore, in the Pure Land, this is known as womb-like birth. However, if there are sentient beings who have no doubt and believe in the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha, they will spontaneously attain the transformative birth. In an instant, they will acquire the same physical features, radiant light, enlightened wisdom, and virtues as those bodhisattvas. The Buddha goes on to describe to Maitreya what this womb-like birth would be like for sentient beings living in samsara. What is described is something that I could only imagine, but really could not fully grasp. Because of the restrictions on travel and going out in public, I am able to relate my own experience of not leaving my home to that of living in a palace that one was confined to. The Buddha said to Maitreya, "Consider the case of a king who possesses a palace chamber made of 7 kinds of jewels. It is adorned in manifold ways, furnished with canopied beds, and hung with many silken banners. If young princes were to commit offenses against the king, they would be imprisoned there and fettered with these gold chains. They would be provided with food and drink, clothes, bedding, flowers and incense, and music, no less than the king is." And the Buddha asked Maitreya, "What do you think? Would these princes enjoy being in such a state or not?" Maitreya's answer is no. They would only try to use various means to seek out someone of great power in order to escape. The Buddha replies to Maitreya, "These sentient beings are precisely like that. Since they doubt the Buddha's wisdom, they will be born in those palaces. There they do not receive any punishment or experience even a moment of discomfort. However, for 500 years, they will neither be able to see the 3 treasures, nor cultivate various roots of good through making offerings to the Buddhas, and this is distressing to them. Though all other pleasures are available to them, they do not enjoy staying there. If these sentient beings become aware of their past offenses and deeply repent with a desire to leave the place, then immediately as they wish, they will be able to go to the place of the Buddha of immeasurable life, where they can worship and make offerings to the Buddha. There is a similarity to my life at the moment. I am restricted to the comforts of my home, and yet I am feeling unhappy because I do not have the freedom that I used to enjoy. My happiness is attached to the freedom I remember having in the past. And because I do not have that freedom, I would like things to be different than they actually are. And this desire to have things the way they were is linked to my unhappiness. What can we do in order to find happiness in the way that things are? We can think about how we are grateful for the things that we have. This is not always easy because we are always looking or wanting something else to satisfy our desires. Last week, I was reminded of how fortunate we are if we are healthy and asked to stay at home. I woke up Saturday morning to find out that we had no water being supplied to 22 homes in my neighborhood. At first it was not a worry because the thought was that the water will be turned back on soon, but our water supply did not turn back on until 4 days later. It is also the loss of something that can be a real reminder of how fortunate we are. With the loss of the water to the home, I had to go out to the street and fill up buckets with water from the city-provided water trucks for the house. As I walked back and forth with the water buckets, I started to think about what it would be like if I had to do this every day in order to have water. How fortunate I am to be living in the part of the world that has running, filtered drinking water that is provided to my home with the turn of a faucet. During the time that the water was shut off to the house, I was thinking about how inconvenient this is. Not only do I have to stay home, but I have no running water, and doing things like washing dishes and going to the washroom and bathing became more difficult. However, if I complained about the situation and did not accept it for what it was, then I would find it more difficult than it actually was. When we are able to experience a situation without wanting things to be different than they actually are, we can approach the situation without anger and resentment. Therefore, it is important to understand impermanence. There is a saying that we may all be familiar with. The saying is, "It is what it is." This phrase is a way to remind ourselves not to complain, but to accept a situation for what it is. And in Japan, they also have a saying, and it is called shoganai. Shoganai is a reminder that sometimes we have to accept things as they are. We can't fight change, and when we encounter a situation beyond our control, shoganai gives us the permission to let go of negative feelings such as anger, disappointment, and guilt, and to embrace acceptance. For all of us who are experiencing negative feelings because of the COVID-19 restrictions on living, please try to think about impermanence, the saying, "It is what it is," and shoganai, as a reminder to accept things as they are. I would like to thank you for listening to my message today and for joining me for this Sunday service. As we share in the compassion of our Buddhist practice and give thanks for the ability to listen to the Dharma, may our lives be filled with happiness and peace, and may we be able to give, even if we only have a little. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo, Namo, Namo. Thank you once again, and I'd encourage you to join us for the 2 p.m. Sunday service today from the Buddhist Temple of Southern Alberta, being broadcasted live on YouTube. Have a wonderful day, and look forward to seeing you all again soon when we can.